Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. We're going to do another Best Ball Mania draft. It's earlier than usual for one of these streams. So hopefully my brain is functioning as it would in the middle of the afternoon. But I am ready to rock. Let's do this. Currently waiting for this Best Ball Mania to be filled. I did a BBM earlier today, and I posted it on Twitter for anyone who wants to take a look at that. I'm not always posting lineups. I post all my BBMs in the late round fantasy football Discord. We got the 107 looking like a running back pick potentially. But I don't post all my lineups to Twitter, but I do put them in the late round fantasy football Discord because people seem to, be interested in it. And then they critique it. And then I feel bad about I'm just kidding. I don't feel bad about myself. There are bad drafts that I draft. I've done them on this stream. I've not had perfect drafts every time that I've done things. I did like the draft that I did earlier today, though. If you want to see a draft that it was a 0 RB build. I felt good at tight end and quarterback and wide receiver for sure. And then I had the right bringbacks, I think, at running back with good enough floors and enough upside. It was like an 8 out of 10 lineup. That's what I put it in as for those who have been following this YouTube channel and me talking about this. I did put it as an 8 out of 10 in my my naming conventions. Andrew says, good morning and good luck, JJ. Are you worried Debo is getting too much steam from the recent 49ers news? I haven't really seen it. I got Debo in a draft yesterday in the third round. So I haven't really seen the steam happen, but I could be wrong. I mean, maybe it's just my anecdotal experience. So I'm not that worried about it. Getting trolled on Twitter right now. That's always fun. All right. So you got typical start. I'm on the clock. We're going Bijan. Get that anchor. Don't have to worry about running back for a little bit. I mean, could go running back in round 2. Maybe if Jonathan Taylor's there and just have a really funky build. I also like doing these builds, crazier builds on streams because I feel like people learn from it a little bit more. Good morning, MV Prof. Good to see you. I'm also testing a little bit to see what the live stream numbers look like in the morning versus doing it in the afternoon. I'm newer. I've been streaming on YouTube for a really long time, but not on this on my own YouTube. It's always been through company. I worked for FanDuel for a while. Did stuff with them. But yeah, so it's interesting to just kind of see what the data is saying and how people interact with this thing. To infinity and Bijan. It's really hard to say Bijan whenever you put it in the context like that. There was I ran a half marathon in March, and as I'm running, I slowed down in mile 11, mile 12, and I had met some dudes before the race. I mean, I doubt that they're watching this live stream, but I met some guys before the race who had listened to my show and stuff, and I start running, and evidently I was ahead of them, or at least one of the guys at mile 11. But that's when I started slowing down. I just went too hot. I talked about this in the draft guide a little bit. But as he passed me, he was clearly in better shape and trained better than I did for this half. But as he passed me, he gave me a pep talk, and I'll never forget it. And I wish, if you're out there somewhere, holler at me. But he screamed out for me to do it for Bijan, as I'm dying on mile 11 and a half of this 13.1 mile race. It was pretty funny to do it for Bijan. Yeah, I could go Jonathan Taylor. I don't have enough. Yeah, there goes Nico. I don't have enough Nico, and it feels bad. So yeah, Atlanta gets Washington, the Giants, and Vegas. So I could go Devontae. I don't really want to force Devontae though, per se. Olave is strong. I think this team is going to go Olave. I think we go Debo probably, one of these two wide receivers with this next pick. All right, let's go Olave. I'm fairly bullish on Olave. because of this Clint Kubiak move and what this could do to the offense in general. They don't have shared opponents. I guess they get Washington because New Orleans gets Washington week 15. They get Vegas too. So they do have shared opponents. They just don't play each other, those two teams. Joe Rogan. Is there an optimal amount of DMT for banking a BBM? Yeah, there was someone on Twitter who said that I was trying to be the Joe Rogan of fantasy football, which is one of the funniest things someone's ever said to me. I can't even fathom going that route. Because as we know, Joe Rogan, as someone said on Twitter, Joe Rogan famously the only podcaster who brings on guests, as we know. Yeah, Neighbors went 201. I didn't even realize that. That's a pretty shocking pick. It's also shocking because Detroit, there's no correlation there, right? Yeah, Detroit doesn't get the Giants. So that team going to be a wild card team. People are going to start using your voice to make their own content. Yeah, content. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Correlation is for the weak. Yeah, I mean, I saw some tweets from Hayden Wink that I think are good, like conversation starters of like what is optimal from a correlation standpoint in terms of like drafting for week 17, and if everyone's doing it, is it actually optimal to do it? But I think it's different than DFS. I'll get to this in a second. I'll dig more into this in a second. I already have the running back. I really don't want to get another one. I really don't want Michael Pittman either. He falls often. Let's go Tank Dell. Let's just go Tank Dell. Feels bad, feels weird, but I went running back in round 1. I don't really want to force it with running back again. I'll be too pivoted. But yeah, like I think the difference with like combinations and being different in best ball is yeah, so index of suspicion saying Leone's best ball manifesto is a great read for correlating week 15 and 16 greater than 17. Yeah, I've been trying to correlate week 15 and 16 pretty frequently. But yeah, like the someone said Dell is where I go in that spot, should be a C. I hope so. Yeah, I mean, he's at least got the big playability. There's contingent upside. You get a piece of that offense, which should be good. And then since I'm in the middle of the draft too, CJ Stroud falls, so it could be a situation where I get Stroud like in the 7th here. But like the difference between DFS, like we're always looking at like being different and being contrarian in DFS. I don't play much DFS anymore. I used to. But in DFS, you're trying to be contrarian, but the percent like the exposure, the ownership numbers for these players is astronomical, right? It's like 50+% some weeks for some guys. And so pivoting makes plenty of sense. But in a best ball draft, it's not necessarily going to be as significant and as high. It's a little bit different of a scenario. I can't really flesh that thought out on live stream while drafting. So that didn't really make that much sense, but trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Let's see. Not getting that much correlation so far. Like I'm not like overly concerned about forcing it. I just got George Pickens. I don't have a ton of Pickens. Might go Amari here. Again, not a ton of correlation though. Who's New Orleans gets Vegas, Washington, Green Bay. Let's just go Amari. Let's go Amari. I don't know who Jagers is. I need to send it to marketing and see what they come back with. Jagers is just like a gamer tag from a while ago, like back in high school and college that I have always used because friends would, instead of calling me JJ, they just say Jagers. or Jage. I've heard you reference expected points per game based on ADP. Is this information available somewhere? You can see the there's no information as in like you can see the formula that builds that, but in the draft guide, there's a chart that shows the curves and the trend lines that create that. I could go Pitts and reach for him next, unless someone falls, which I'm okay with these 3 wideouts. I got Pitts earlier today too. Halo guy in college, Madden. No, I was a big Halo guy. Big Halo guy. I played Halo 1 with Xbox Connect. Remember that? If any like hardcore Halo 1ers, you'd have to like go to your computer, find someone that's connected through Xbox Connect, and you would use the system link to do it. That's like what the technology did. And then you go play and you got to see it, and the connection was just always laggy. Halo 2 was my jam though. Halo 2 was like me in senior year of high school ish. We used to play so much. And we were good. We had one of the best big team clans in that game. Not gonna lie. Humble brag. All right, we're about to be on the clock. Yeah, Hollywood's here. I think Hollywood is probably my best get. Not a lot of correlation going on, but we're just gonna do it. You got Cleveland and Kansas City in week 15. That's the thing with a lot of the 15-16 stuff. You'll get some natural correlation in there. Yeah, there goes Pitts right after that. I should have just gone Pitts. We'll see what happens though. Halo 2 is my jam too. Yeah, Halo 2 was awesome, man. And I feel like people like Halo 3 more, but I feel like Halo 2 had more skill to it. Halo 3 kind of like shrunk the range of skill. But like Halo 2 was the plasma BR stuff. Yeah, the battle rifle move with the plasma rifle. Or the plasma pistol rather. Halo 2 is definitely more. Yeah, I thought so too. JJ, if you drafted a safe floor team, I mean, I don't know. I think that we just we don't get floor and ceiling stuff right very often. You know, I think that we just kind of we think we know what that means, but I don't think we actually know what that means. Like we project floor for a player, and we're like, yeah, this guy's a safe floor, but he's not a safe floor. We project ceiling, he's a safe. It's like, but no, I mean, like, I don't think I'm drafting any like this is just a safe team necessarily. I just don't know how to really define that. JJ, is today a Rocket League or NCAA type night? Oh man, probably college football. I haven't played Rocket League all week because of NCAA. I'm playing as Bowling Green. We're in like week 9. Looking good. We've lost 1 game. Lost to Penn State at Penn State. That was rough. I don't know if you guys would play college football, but it's rough when you go to those like big programs and go to their stadiums. Yeah, Halo 2 battle rifle was great. I would say Halo 1 pistol though. That thing was dope. We used to play Hang 'em High, CTF. That pistol, you can get anyone across the map. All right, we got to figure out what we're doing here. Do I just go Stroud and force it a little bit? I don't really want to because he's been falling. Where did Nico go? Nico went right before me, didn't he? Yeah. So this would be the Stroud, and then Diggs went right after or right before me here. And they don't have a quarterback. They might go Stroud. I might go Mixon here though. Correlate him with Tank Dell a little bit. And we'll see. And then you get Kansas City also because Houston gets Kansas City in week 16. Are you worried about at all about George Kittle getting surgery and losing weight this offseason? I haven't heard enough about it to be worried. I get worried about stuff when Twitter doctors tell me to be worried about it. Honestly. I'm not a doctor to know enough about that kind of thing, you know? I kind of talked about that on today's mailbag episode with Jordan Addison. All right, so that team took James Cook, the Diggs team. Maybe they won't go after Stroud in the 7th. I saw a naked Stroud go at the 6-7 turn today. About to listen to recent Best Ball Bro episode on hour and a half bike ride. Hopefully it doesn't put me to sleep. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't. As you know, though, the only reason I do the Becoming a Best Ball Bro series is because I'm trying to become the Joe Rogan of the fantasy football space. David Montgomery at the 6-11 is pretty early. Usually falls a little bit more. Maybe it's just because I haven't drafted that much David Montgomery, though. But like the delta, like from a value perspective, if you look at, oh man, look at this double tight end out of the one spot with Ingram and Kincaid. Another thing about going Amari, I got Amari, Olave. Like if things don't break right for me, I have some outs with like a 3 quarterback build with like Watson and Derek Carr. There goes McConkey. Twitter doc saying Burrow will never be able to throw the same again. I don't know. I know that some say that, but some also don't say that. All right, so this team right here is the one that's probably going to take Stroud. I like to try to read the board and like predict. Remember when Tony Romo was in the booth the first year and he was like predicting everything and everyone loved him? That's what I'm trying to do here. All right, so you got Stroud, and if I don't get Stroud, probably go Kamara and get the New Orleans stack. Do I love Kamara? No. Is this person going to take Kamara? Maybe. Would it put me on tilt? Probably. Might have to just... Okay, there we go. All right, so we have our pick, right? It's either going to be Stroud or Kamara. Yeah, there goes Stroud. Predicted that right. There goes Kamara. It's going to be an interesting build. It honestly might end up being we might be able to get away with a 4 running back build if this next round is running back just based on what the market looks like, right? Because wide receiver just sucks in this round. There's no reason to really reach. So it could be a 4 running back build. We could have fun with this, guys. Yeah, we got two running backs here with a week 12. I don't really care. Look, I understand that there's buy issues whenever you stat. Like, I get it, but it's not like the whole team is. And I'm going to try my best to make sure that the quarterbacks are differentiated. Bye week hell happens. What do you think about picking a better bring back player versus a team same stack? Usually, I get the team stack because the bring back is based on 1 week, whereas the team stack is based on all weeks. You would much rather get the team stack than the bring back, or you should. David Njoku, that's early. Man, this team is wild. Kind of just getting their guys. Not super, super wild. I like the Chicago stack right there. But yeah, this is probably a 3 quarterback build. Might be a 3 tight end build. I'm not like in love with what's going on, but I like to differentiate the team builds a little bit to see kind of what goes down. Now, one thing I could do with this kind of build is feel more confident about a guy like Jonathan Brooks. But Aaron Jones sitting there is mighty, mighty tempting. I think Jones will go, though. Maybe this pick right here. Oh, wow. Jordan Addison. This team has 4 running backs, and they're probably going to take another one. Maybe they get Curtis Samuel. They have 4 running backs and 1 wide receiver. Yeah, there goes Curtis Samuel. Okay. I might go... Maybe I should just go Aaron Jones. Play the ADP game. Getting a value on him. I could probably get a Green Bay player later if I wanted to stack that a little bit. Seattle as well. Let's just go Jones, and we're done at running back. I'm not getting another running back. It's an old running back room. You know, I don't love doing that, but each of them have plenty of volume upside. This is a different build than what I typically do, as you guys know from watching the streams and stuff. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting team. But for running backs with this kind of capital and who these guys are, I'm actually okay with and sticking with that. What I really need to figure out is like I think next we do something like this, and we go Shaheed, pair him up with Chris Olave. I think we got to go wide receiver next. Don't really have. We could go like Naked Love. That sounds so sexual. We could go Naked Love and get like a Wicks Musgrave type later, which is kind of intriguing because we have Aaron Jones, and we could put the Jaden Reed, Christian Watson managers on tilt. We'll see what's there. What do you guys think? Would you rather go Love, lock that up, or go Shaheed and keep building out the wide receiver room? Might be able to get Shaheed in the next round too. Naked Love equals 80s metal band name. Yeah, for real. I don't know. It could be really interesting to do that and even force it a little bit because then we have multiple outs here. We got Wicks, who I don't mind reaching for to get a stack. And then that way we could go Love and maybe only have a 2 quarterback build. We'll see. I think I kind of want to do this. I want to do this. I have so much Rashid Shaheed. We're going to try this out. All right. We got a slight discount on Love. Quarterbacks are, what is he? Because Brock Purdy went in front of him. Quarterbacks are going maybe slightly, or like this is not a later quarterback draft, right? This will be interesting. And then next round, we just got to hope that one of these guys is there. And yeah, like it's a slight reach, but is it? I don't even think it's actually that much of a reach. It's actually not a reach at all. But then you get like Index is saying in chat, you can get Luke Musgrave, you can get Marshawn Lloyd. Although I'm not getting another running back. There goes Shaheed. That's fine. There goes Sutton. Hopefully someone takes Palmer. They want Jacoby. Let's see the where's the Watson team? Right here. Maybe this is a Green Bay player. And then where's Jaden Reed? I'm glad I didn't steal it from the like a Reed and Watson. Okay, Reed's after me. One spot after me. This guy got CJ Stroud, so that's fine. This is where like your blood starts pumping when you're doing this, right? Someone say 18th round Bo Melton. Yeah, 18th round Bo Melton could work. For sure. The real question is if Dobbs and Wicks are there, what direction do I go? I have way more Wicks, but Dobbs would be the ADP play, which is probably what I'd do. We'll see though. See, the other thing too is this one team right before me is the only one. Like this team probably won't get a wide receiver after getting 6 to start the draft. Oh, they did. Okay. All right then. They have 7 wide receivers. This is the pick. Do they go Wicks? I'm ready. I'm ready for the Wicks. I'm ready to have my heart Oh, thank God. We did it. Thank God. Thank God. That felt like the right move in hindsight because we still have a New Orleans stack. We have Deshaun Watson in play. If I get Watson, I'm cool with Love and Watson. Saved by the T-Law. T-Law, man, he's been like the topic of conversation on these live streams this week with me reaching for him. And then T-Law saving us with this buffer to get to Dontavian Wicks, despite this team already having Joe Burrow and only having 3 wide receivers. But now we got to think 3 tight ends. Musgrave would be great. What's Musgrave's ADP exactly? Like I'm thinking get Musgrave, 148. I'll be picking at 138, maybe here. Maybe the 12th would be Musgrave. There's so much pivoting in this draft for me because I didn't correlate much at all to start the draft. But now we got at least something going on here. What percent chance do you give Wicks for finishing both top 24 or top 12 at wide receiver? Top 24? I don't know. 20%? No, probably lower than that. Based on history and his ADP, less than 10%. I don't know why I said 20%. But maybe we give that a little bit of a buffer or a buff and say 8%, 9%. Top 12, pretty low. Think an injury would have to happen. All right, we got a little bit of a buffer with, I keep using the word buffer, with tight end, so I don't need to force it with our boy Musgrave. Problem is there's not really many, like we need wide receiver here. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going back to back. This is what we're doing. We're going to start with Freiermuth. We get the Kansas City correlation. We have stability at tight end. I think Freiermuth is undervalued in general. And then if we go Musgrave, then I think it's fine as a 2 tight end build. And even if we want to get Derek Carr in a 3 quarterback build, I don't think Carr and Love is strong enough. But we could also think about, Jawan. We can think about Jonnu if we get Deshaun Watson. There's some outs here for us. And also Russell Wilson, this opens things up for, as Andrew said. So yeah, I mean, I think that was the right move to kind of get some correlation in there to give us some flexibility. Thoughts and prayers for the bankrolls drafting Juwan. I'm not really drafting him anymore. I was pretty highly, or heavily, I should say. But yeah, this is the range. I do like a lot of the running backs in here, and I don't like a lot of the wide receivers. So it makes it a little bit difficult to be, stuck with these 4 and kind of being done with it. But that's what differentiates your lineup, right? Like that's part of what this tournament action is about. See what the tight end situations look like for these teams. You got and Joker already picked. You have Kelsey, Laporta. I mean, every team ahead of me here has a tight end. So we could be in good shape unless they just decide to be jerks. The team next to me is definitely the wild card. I just realized too, I mean, I think I got a piece of, I had beans with my eggs this morning. All right, here we go. Cole Kmet went. That could have been bad. We're going to go Luke Musgrave. 10 picks above ADP. Totally fine with that to get the stack. We have the bring back of Aaron Jones. Not bad. Oh, the other thing too is Green Bay and we oh, wow. I should have mentioned this. Green Bay in week 16 gets New Orleans. So we have that going. We're going to have to beef up this wide receiver room though. I think this is one of those things where too we could go Derek Carr and Russ, right? Or we can go Deshaun Watson. I don't basically what I'm saying is I don't want to force it with Deshaun as a result. I feel like the Love move was kind of game changing for this draft because the first 8 rounds were rough with lack of correlation, with the running back build, and I feel like it's coming together a little bit more now. I don't know. You guys might feel differently. It's really hard for me to like pick Ricky Pearsall and Xavier Legette over Zach Charbonnet. That's part of the reason why I have so much Zach Charbonnet. I'm getting Sharbs out of stacks just as a one-off. Got him earlier today as a one-off. Technically, though, he would fit this build because they get Green Bay in week 15. There goes Jaleel. All right. So what are we thinking in this next pick? Probably a wideout. We need some wideout help. I'm not as concerned about correlation because we just need some help. Burton would be fun. There's a Cleveland correlation with Burton. Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas would be fine. It opens things up with Drake May late. New England just doesn't really share any opponent there. I agree that Pearsall could be really big if Ayuk gets moved. I don't think I'm not avoiding Pearsall. When I say that, I'm not avoiding Pearsall. It's just that there's obviously a huge chance that he's a zero or doesn't do a ton without an injury there. Whereas I think we're going to get some production from Charbonnet regardless. Maybe I should have just focused that on Legette more than Pearsall because I like Pearsall more too as a prospect. All right, we'll go Burton here. Beef up the wide receiver room a little bit. The only thing with Deshaun Watson is you get the same buy as Jordan Love. So I really think that I got to only get Watson if he falls. Probably get Carr and Russ. But we have a lot of room to get a lot of players. Like it could be a 3-4 what? 3-4-8 3-4-8-3 build. So we still get 8 wide receivers, and that's getting 8 wide receivers while having 4 in the first 5 rounds. So like this wide receiver room, I think is still solid. It's a fun little build. It's definitely different. Probably got to think wide receiver. Could go a third tight end if we wanted to. Could go Roman Wilson with Pittsburgh. Again, it's really hard to take a guy like Roman Wilson above these running backs. But I think that we got to sit still and sit steady with what we did. I mean, Thielen's fine. I just don't know if there's not really any correlation going on. I think Roman Wilson might be the next pick as like a safety pick. Do I love him? No, I haven't drafted him much at all. But you're playing this chance that Pittsburgh's at least a little bit better offensively than what's projected. Could also go Noah Fant if we wanted to go a 3 tight end build because there's some correlation with Minnesota and Green Bay. But I want to leave that open and have that flexibility. I don't have that much Roman Wilson either. We're going to go Roman Wilson. People might hate that pick. You don't really have to reach for him that frequently, but he could see a decent amount of work. He could see 70 to 80 targets this year. And like the other thing about the alternatives in this range, right? And who else I would be picking? Tyler Algier, of course not. Thankfully the running backs all got drafted here that I wouldn't feel that bad. Ray Davis is the one that I do like getting in this range. But are we going to be shocked if Roman Wilson outplays DeMarcus Robinson, Rashad Bateman, and Michael Wilson? Of course not. And it helps with our correlation. All right. So the other thing to think about would be tight end next and quarterback. Did Deshaun Watson get drafted? I think he got drafted. Yeah, he went here. Do they even have... All right, this team has Burrow, T-Law, and Deshaun. We're getting to that 15th round range where I don't care as much about ADP. Trying to see. All right. Yeah, I think Carr and Russ make sense. I'm not going to reach per se. We have, man, could go Cousins out of nowhere and then get Rondell Moore at the end. I'm almost thinking that. What do you guys think of that? Cousins, Rondell. Look at this. This is so far past ADP. I have Bijan. I can still stack them because of Moore late. I might just do this. Is similar to where I was at with Jordan Love. Let's see what. Maybe this team does it. It's just so far past ADP. I think we got to do it. If people are taking Bryce Young right now and Kirk Cousins is still sitting there, and I already have Jordan Love, I think we got to go Cousins here, guys. And I'm honestly fine with reaching for Rondale to get a piece there. Right? We're done at quarterback now. We don't have to worry about the other stuff. We still have these mini stacks going on with Pittsburgh and Kansas City, with New Orleans. We have Bijan, right? He's a receiving back. You ever going to run a marathon, JJ? Dad Laura would be insane. Probably not. See, look at all these quarterbacks, man. This is that Cousins pick was clutch, I think. Because I'd force a Derek Carr pick right here. And yeah, there's more correlation because we have Olave. Bo Nix is going. What if Derek Carr gets drafted? I might force it with Rondell in the next round. Do you think that's wild? Do you think that's stupid? The other thing too, this now opens us up to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a third tight end to get the week 17 correlation with Atlanta. Hopefully Sinnett's there. And he's a perfect third tight end because he might not do that much throughout the season, but he might hit late. That QB run was crazy. And this team build is crazy, but I kind of like it. All right, we're gonna go Sinnott. 3 tight end build. We get that correlation late. 18th round Casey Washington is more fun than Rondell. I don't think so. I don't think Casey Washington is a good prospect at all. He wasn't even invited to the combine. Usually those players don't do anything. I can think of no one else who says this team isn't winning BBM like Derek Carr, even with the stack. He is not him. I kind of disagree, only because of cost. Like any quarterback can give you some usability in a given week. Derek Carr has had spiked weeks. It's not impossible at all. And I think that I'm a little bit more bullish on New Orleans offense this year than others because of Clint Kubiak going there. I mean, I get the sentiment. Don't get me wrong. Julian Edelman wasn't invited to the combine. Okay. Jerry Rice wasn't a first round pick. We can't use. I'm speaking generally, folks. We're playing probability here. It's like Tom Brady, sixth rounder, right? Let's just get all quarterbacks in the 6th round because Tom Brady went in the 6th round. This team is wild. I mean, if you want me to go Casey Washington, I'll get him also in the 18th. Yeah, he does have he has something. I've gotten Rondell. I got him earlier. As much as I don't care for Derek Carr, he's essentially free this year. Yeah, I mean, and I think he's going to keep the gig. This is a weird, fun build. Like we're gonna be able to do whatever we want in round 18, hopefully. That was a little lag. How many best ball drafts have you completed? Post NFL draft, I've done about 360. Pre NFL draft, I did about 100 to 120, I think. I did those big board drafts. So I've done almost 500 this year. But I'm slowing down on slows. I just can't handle like with my workload increases this time of year, just in general, doing content and stuff. It's probably a 9 running back build or 9 wide receiver, 9 running back, 9 wide receiver build. All right. Let's look at these correlations. Atlanta gets and so I think what we could do is get a Giants wide out. That's one. Keep that in mind. So let's look at a Slayton or a Hyatt because or A.T. Perry because of New Orleans, but I'd rather not stack that too hard. This is for Atlanta in week 16. Now Green Bay in weeks. You got New Orleans in week 16. We already have that. Seattle, there's no one that we would want. I think going with one of the Giants wide receivers makes sense. Do you think Will Shipley is being slept on? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, what do you guys think? We could go running back with the last pick and just get like a rando, throw him in there and hope that something happens with him instead of going with 4 running backs. Get like a younger guy. It's just these wide receivers. I mean, it's not a terrible wide receiver room. What do you guys think? Wide out or running back? Do you have any tools which highlights correlated players or just know the week 17 matchups by heart? I just know the matchups by heart. Could go like Herbert or Audric Estime. I think wide receivers probably it. Jalen Hyatt just went. Let's say this. If Darius Slayton gets drafted, we're going to go running back. Ooh, Estime with the Burton bring back. That's true. And then the Burton pick doesn't look so standalone and weird. I kind of like that. You also get a little youth in that running back room. And it's a dart, and I think we're going to do that. No, Vidal is not available. He goes in like 4 or 5 rounds earlier. feel like this could be an estimate snipe. I do like the call with Burton though. This is why I'm drafting with you guys. I don't like drafting Justin Fields personally. All right, we're gonna go estimate. There she is. What a weird adventure we just went on. So it ends up being Jordan Love, Kirk Cousins, like 30 picks past ADP. Bijan, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Audric Estime, Olave, Tank Dell, Amari Cooper, Hollywood Brown, Dontavian Wicks, Jermaine Burton, Roman Wilson, Rondell Moore, and then Freiermuth, Luke Musgrave, and Ben Sinnott. I kind of like that team. It's a really different build and an interesting build. That was fun. Here's the board. Always goes back. All right, we'll go back to this screen, to me, in my face. That was a good time. What do you guys think? Are you gonna rate the team as we've been doing? I might honestly give it an 8, but that might just be because we overcame some stuff there, right? Like it might not be an 8 team, but based on how the draft kind of unfolded, I'm proud of like the way it was read. But yeah, 7.5 out of 10. That feels like the right kind of vibe for it. I'm not doing any decimals though. All right, now we got an 8.5, so maybe we go with an 8 out of 10 with that. That means I got 2 8 out of 10s today. Yeah, I kind of like the team too. It's just it's a different build. I think it differentiates from the field, just given the type of build that it is. Yeah, we had the right kind of bringbacks. I think we brought it together. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in and joining up and watching me draft this team and talking to me and talking about Halo a little bit. That was always fun. That is always fun, I should say. But check out the Late Round podcast. Check out the Late Round Draft Guide. Make sure you're taking advantage of the Underdog promo. You can get a free Late Round Draft Guide if you've never signed up at Underdog. Just go to underdogfantasy.com, sign up with promo code Late Round, and you will get an email with that draft guide to your email inbox. And you'll be able to see the updates each week. You just click the link every week and go from there. But otherwise, everyone, enjoy your weekend. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I will talk to you next week.